Hello, everyone. I'm Eileen McCoy. To help make an informed decision about our current employee retention problem, I did a comparative analysis of two systematic reviews to determine which might be best in providing guidance as to whether we should create a flexible work environment. The two reviews are Employee Wellbeing and the HRM Organizational Performance Relationship by Van der Voorde, Pauwy, and Van Veldhoven, and Flexible Working and Performance by Menezes and Kelleher. I'll provide background on evidence-based research, management, and practice, details on the comparative analysis and my resulting recommendations, and so you have a better understanding of the critical thinking behind my recommendations, context regarding the tools involved in measuring the credibility and strength of research, evidence, and findings. According to David Lane, the goal of scientific research is to discover laws and propose theories that explain natural or social phenomena. Theories, such as the impact of flexible work environments on employee retention, are explanations of what researchers suggest may be occurring with a particular phenomenon. Scientific research seeks to continually progress toward better theories through better observations, the use of more accurate instruments, and more informed logical reasoning. Scientific theories are derived through a process of logic and evidence. These are the only two pillars upon which scientific knowledge is based. They are interrelated and cannot exist without each other. Theories provide meaning and significance to what we observe, and observations help validate or refine existing theory or construct new theory. Theory building and testing are critical for the advancement of science. Better research means better evidence and results that lead to better evidence-based management. According to Behrens, Russo, and Briner's work for the Center for Evidence-Based Management, management decisions should be based on a combination of critical thinking and the best available evidence. Evidence, meaning information, facts, or data either supporting or contradicting a claim, assumption, or hypothesis. There are many sources of evidence, and, as noted by Coughlin, Cronin, and Ryan, not all is of the same quality. There are scientific tools to help rank evidence, as evidence-based management dictates that research results should not be taken at face value or given a higher ranking simply because it's been published. It's important for managers to move away from decision-making based solely on past experience or best practices. The viability of an organization depends on the quality of its business decisions and management practices. Evidence-based management is the path to closing the gap between research and practice. Evidence-based practice seeks to address this by helping managers to critically evaluate the validity, generalizability, and applicability of the evidence they have in hand and how to find the best available evidence. According to Behrens, Russo, and Briner, evidence-based practice is the process of asking, acquiring, appraising, aggregating, applying, and assessing data to solve problems and make effective business decisions, and it may reduce the overuse of ineffective practices and the underuse of approaches known to be effective. Russo and McCarthy state that implementing evidence-based management and practice lends itself to a continual refinement of new, replicable learning that brings value to both the manager practitioner and the organization. One scientific approach that supports evidence-based decisions is the systematic review. This is the methodology I use to investigate employee retention as it relates to flexible work environments. Just what are systematic reviews? As stated by Briner, Denyer, and Rousseau, they are part of a family of approaches to the evidence-based management process. When done appropriately, they concisely summarize what is known and not known about a specific practice-related question. Systematic reviews do not provide the answer to the problem. They rigorously address a clearly specified answerable question, usually derived from a policy or practice problem. The question guides the review by defining which studies will be included, what the search strategy to identify the relevant primary studies should be, and which data need to be extracted from each study. Systematic reviews are essential to the evidence-based management process. According to Hardin and Thomas, there are a variety of systematic reviews. The choice of which might be best depends on the research area and the research question. Regardless, every systematic review involves a series of steps: developing a user-driven review question, determining a review protocol, completing a comprehensive search for evidence, identifying inclusion and exclusion criteria, performing a quality assessment of the studies, and extracting data and synthesizing findings. Again, not all systematic reviews are of the same quality. To determine which of the reviews I chose might provide the best evidence for my recommendations, I used a benchmarking or ranking tool called Prisma to compare the two. The Prisma checklist, according to Liberati et al., is a tool developed to ensure items deemed essential for the transparent reporting of systematic reviews and meta-analyses are actually included in the studies. The checklist consists of 27 items grouped into 7 categories. Using the checklist, I rated each systematic review by category, with each receiving a point for the categories that follow Prisma guidelines. I'll be discussing the 4 categories I feel are key to my comparative analysis. Let's start with an item one might overlook during a comparative analysis, the actual title of the review. According to the checklist, the title should identify the type of review. The D. Menezes and Kelleher review contains the words systematic review and the key phrase flexible working, which is what we're considering here at Locus. The other review simply states it is a review of quantitative studies. It could be a literature review, meta-analysis, or mixed methods review. It's simply not possible to tell without delving further into the report. We may have also missed this review during a key phrase search. The methods section contains 12 of the 27 items on the Prisma checklist, signifying its importance in the systematic review process. The Van de Voort, Poway, and Van Veldhoven review provides an overview of its research methodology and relies on literature from published journals. In contrast, the de Menezes and Kelleher review provides a detailed description of their methodology and includes gray literature which, according to Briner, Denyer, and Rousseau, is literature not restricted to papers published in the top journals. Both articles do a sound job of covering the Prisma parameters in the results section, with the de Menezes and Kelleher review going into a bit more detail. The discussion section, per the Prisma checklist, is an important one as it synthesizes and lays out the review findings, provides answers to the research question, addresses limitations, and provides information about potential future research that could improve findings or lead to new research and theories. Both systematic reviews do a good job of covering the parameters in this section. You can see by the overall comparative summary, the de Menezes and Kelleher review is the better fit for the situation at Locus Innovation. Based on Briner, Denyer, and Rousseau's 4 elements surrounding evidence-based management decisions, evaluated evidence, stakeholders, organizational context, and practitioner experience, I'd like to make the following recommendations. First, implement flexible working arrangements, or FWAs. Though the results of the de Menezes and Kelleher systematic review state there is no clear evidence for a business case for establishing FWAs, the synthesized data clearly indicate they assist in employee retention. There is a strong positive link between FWAs and employee job satisfaction and commitment to the organization. Second, survey employees. The evidence states a policy change may have little impact on employees if what is offered does not match employee preferences. It is important we ensure the FWAs we offer are what our employees want. We need to ask both before making the change to establish credibility and after implementation to measure outcomes and make any necessary adjustments. Third, understanding the benefit of using evidence-based processes, we should continue to do so to determine if there is additional research that more closely matches our situation and to discover other potential no-cost or soft benefits that may further improve employee retention. Finally, I'd like to provide context regarding the tools involved in measuring the credibility and strength of research, evidence, and findings as they pertain to the chosen systematic review. The systematic review is different than analyzing individual studies and, according to the Science blog, sits atop the evidence-based management pyramid based on the quality of evidence and risk of bias. Pettigrew and Roberts state that single studies, taken in isolation, may produce atypical results and can be misleading, whereas systematic reviews provide a means of allowing large amounts of information to be consolidated and synthesized into a manageable form. This way, Decisions are made on a transparent and potentially defendable basis as the systematic review draws on all relevant scientifically sound research rather than on single studies. Reviewers achieve this by conducting extensive searches to find all relevant published and unpublished research in order to avoid publication bias and by assessing the validity and reliability of their research. Their findings are based solely on the research in the review, resulting in rigor and transparency. When we examine the evidence across multiple stages of the de Menezes and Kelleher review structure, we find their research is of high quality. In regards to study selection, the authors provide extensive detail about their methods and speak to individual study findings in a broad chronological order, emphasizing studies that were cited frequently, meta-analyses, and more recent large empirical investigations in the section labeled General Observations on the Literature. They are also careful to include gray and other non-traditional literature in their study selection to avoid publication bias. Their summary and limitations sections explicitly address the potential bias for individual studies and the synthesized results. Despite their caution in explaining their mixed results and methodological issues, they present clear, synthesized information when discussing individual and collective results by type of outcome. Their outcomes are grouped by organization, individual performance, and attitude and well-being. In each outcome section, they examine studies that combine FWAs and then consider specific FWAs. Implications for management practice can be found within each outcome section. The authors also address the clear need for additional qualitative and quantitative research in regards to employee choice in determining their work environment, as well as other potential aspects of both the individual and synthesized research levels. As posited by Baba and Hakim Zeta, methodological fit, contextualization, replicability, transparency, and scholarly and experts' consensus are the 5 dimensions of assessing the rigor and relevance of evidence as revealed in its quality and reliability. The stronger the alignment across these dimensions, the stronger the evidence. This and the quality of evidence presented in the review are the basis for and confidence in my recommendations. Thank you.